How you gonna knock somebody in the world for actually trying to do something? Trying. Since when has it become not cool to try?
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dom. I'm a little sick, as you know. I'm on the other end of the sickness, so we're gonna be okay. By we, I mean we, us. You are gonna be okay as well. I just want you to, know that you're gonna be okay as well. You may be going through something. I'm going through something. We're all going through something. Everybody in this world is going through something, and it's our responsibility to give, God, our trust and faith that, He will make it right, because He shows us trials and tribulations, to for us to form into the person He intended us to be. Because there's a lot of evil in this world, and it's harder and harder to be good, but when you have God's grace and you have faith, then it's not hard at all. But that is not what this video is about. This video is about the neighbors, and I'm just gonna. This video is gonna be the end of it. I'm gonna stop talking about them throughout my videos. For a specific for specific reasons. And it's because I don't remember what I said in the first one, but what I will say is that I do have feelings of, anger and irritation towards the situation at hand right now. And I really want to, how do you say? I want to nullify it. I want to make amends on my feelings, because I have, God has taught me. He is teaching. I am in His teachings right now, but I have learned the main, lesson in this teaching that's happening as of right now anyway. And so in this teaching, I do want to, God, I ask for forgiveness, and if I said anything that was, offensive, or that just wasn't right, you know what I mean? Not even just offensive, just if I said something that wasn't right, because our tongue is a very powerful, thing, and it can be turned as a weapon, and I'm not trying to use mine as a weapon. I'm trying to use my tongue as a way of peace, prosperity, learning, guidance, peace is the main attribute I want my tongue to be, and guidance, because that's what God, that's what His mission was for me, is not to talk bad about anybody or anything, and to handle life with grace, because, there's always something worse going on in the world, and there's always somebody going through way worse than you are, including me. And that's what it is. That's what it is with the neighbors. I may be complaining that they're making a lot of noise when they do make noise at night, and we can't sleep. But what I've learned is that instead of complaining about them making noise, how about we complain about the environment and the broken cycle that this family across the street has put them in, to cause them to bring their pain onto others, which is the cycle. It's the cycle that we all, in the whole world, we all go through, and that's why we're kind of stuck as a society, because we're in our own family, we are stuck in a cycle, and then we take our cycle and then we put it onto others. We put our pain onto others, instead of seeing each other with grace, interacting with each other with grace. You know what I mean? But I'm just here to say, like, I truthfully, And honestly, I feel bad for them. I have empathy towards them. And I had empathy towards them, before I had to come back and live with my mom. That it may be embarrassing to say, but God, he showed me my blessings, and then he put me in a place where, you know, he said, "Hey, Dom, I'm gonna show you what it could be, what it can be," before I had to, move back in with my mom. And then he put me back here with my mom to show and test me. Be like, all right, Dom, I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna test your will. I'm gonna test your patience. I'm gonna test your faith in me. And if put your life in my hands, Dom. And that's what I'm doing. I'm putting my life in his hands. I'm taking every day as a lesson and a blessing in disguise. Because if I know in the last video, where I'm playing as, who am I playing as? I don't remember. Even though it's been a day. It's actually been 2 days because I took a day to edit it and then I scheduled it. You guys wouldn't know that because, I schedule my videos daily. So, when I do record and edit, it could be from like weeks beforehand or for several days, even. But that's just to say, like, in this sickness, it's given me a lot of clarity. And, I have empathized with my neighbors even more. Even though, I'm not trying to assume, because it's not my place to assume or it's not my place to judge. There's only one that serves judgment, and that's God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit. He is the only person that is allowed to judge. When our time comes, we will be at the gates and our judgment day will come. That's the only time of judgment that matters. Not us judging each other because way somebody looks or walks or talks, or you know what I mean, or way somebody lives their own life, because who are we to judge and who are we to tell somebody how to live their life? That's their life. We are only no, we're not even in charge, but we are responsible for our own lives. You know what I mean? So, that's what focusing on yourself means. Don't worry about, the next person. And that's what I'm really trying to accomplish, in this trial and tribulation, in these trial and tribulations I've been going through, as of, starting, or not even starting, just having to move back in with my mother, as a in my mid-20s, you know what I mean? It may be embarrassing, but that's just the world I'm living in right now. I did try to find a job, for months and months and months and months and months, and it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. I was getting rejected by a robot, by a robot email saying, long story short, no, we've moved on with other people, and it's like, all right, whatever. But I digress. This video is about the neighbors, and I really do empathize with my neighbors. I understand, they go through loss, incarceration, drug addiction. They're going through drug addiction right now, and I'm not here to judge or assume, but the assumption is that they probably are dealing right now, and it isn't my business, but it's kind of my business because I care about their well-being. You know what I mean? It's not even about the distribution of drug or whatever, if that is happening, because they could be selling pies for all I know, and I'm just talking out of my ass. But yeah, like, I really do feel bad for them. The whole family. There might be prostitution happening in the family, and if that's the case, I really do feel bad, because a woman's body is supposed to be cherished and nurtured and valued. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if I ever said this in a video prior to this one, but I've always said, the strongest people in my life aren't men, they're women. My best friend had a baby, and the mother of his child, when she was pregnant, it was like nothing. So if that don't tell you that women are the strongest people on this planet, then I don't know what else to tell you. And it's not, coming from oh, he's a simp, oh, he's a feminine. Like, no, it's just I'm just telling you out of experience what I've seen. You know what I mean? But on to the neighbors. Again, like, I'm putting, I do pray for them. I do have prayers for them, and hope, God, guides them in the way they should go, to be better. Because, it is assuming, and, and it sucks saying that, but I'm honest, so it doesn't suck saying it. And if that is happening, everything I just said that they could or they might be doing, I pray for them. If that is the case. If not, then, if you guys hear, if you guys hear anything in the background, they're doing work outside. It's funny. The last time I made a neighbor video, it was the garbage truck. Now it's road work. Excuse me. But yeah, like if everything I'm saying is, or everything my mom and I is predicting or inferring, and if it's true, then I really, I want God to, guide them and bless them with, better times and, and peace. Because, I could complain all day about the noise, but I am the luckiest person in the world right now. In my situation, in my circumstances, it could be way worse right now for me. And God is really, he's really teaching me that it can be worse. And he's like, Dom, look across the street. It's worse over there. So be grateful for what you have and who you have and, where you are right now, because it could be way worse for you. So stop judging. Stop assuming, Dom. Stop judging. Just have faith that God will take care of them. And I do. I do have faith that God will, bless their hearts, because they, none of us deserve the evil that, that happens in this world that, turns us into people that we are not. Because I do believe that, the neighbors, and not just the neighbors across the street that this video is about. I'm talking about the world. Like, there are things that happen in our world and that happen in our lives and our environments that turn us into people that we are truly not. We are not, people that seek out revenge or kill people, for some, for some nonsense. Just because, you can get killed right now because somebody looked at you wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's how, I'm not saying the devil is strong, with me, because he tries to get me every day, and I'm like, nah, that's not gonna work. No, I'm here. I'm awake. It's gonna take a little more effort, my guy, because God's got me. So you don't know what you're gonna have to try a little harder, buddy. But I'm not saying the rest of the world, but for, most of the world now, that his devil's work is, his plans are working, and they're easy for people. It's just easy for him, and people are walking straight into it. You know what I mean? And it's not their fault. It's because there's evil energy not everywhere, but basically everywhere you go. And there's select few people in select few spaces where the light is shining. You know what I mean? So, the devil, he's doing a good job right now, but just know, there's going to be a point in time where, Jesus comes back with trumpets playing, and he's going to come back. And God is going to be like, I'm over this. We're God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, like, we're over this. We're gonna make things right, and we're gonna bring the people with us that that not only believed but that knew we that trusted in our plans. And I am one of those people. I was one of those people before I was conceived. Angels have been watching over me, and they're watching over you too. Don't get me wrong. If you're doing bad right now, there are still angels watching over you. You just have to not sense them, but you have to look within yourself, and you have to really like dig deep and be like, yeah, there is a better plan for me, and it isn't all this bullshit that I'm going through right now, and that I'm doing, that I'm enduring. Just keep that in mind, guys. If you are listening, I don't know if anybody's listening, but if anybody will happen to see this, if you are listening, please take that into account. Please, you gotta, because that's what I had to do. It took me March of this year to finally wake up, like actually wake up. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I did still slip into the devil's work, or not work, but into his little, he's just bothering me. I got tempted into his annoyances. Annoying, is that a word? He's just being annoying. He's being an annoying little brat, and in his temptations, I fell for them, and I'm not perfect, and I'm still working, very hard every day. I'm reading the Bible again, like I did when I was a child. I'm praying in the morning and I'm praying at night. I'm really trying to get better. I'm trying to be who God intended me to be every day. Yeah, just as far as the neighbors, I do have empathy towards them, and if they're distributing illegal paraphernalia or whatever, it's been advised that Dom, you should call the cops. Not even about that, but about the noise. Like, Dom, you should call the cops. But I don't want to call the cops, because if you call the cops enough about noise, they're gonna show up and they're gonna be like, yo, we want to search the area. You want to search you, and then people are gonna get caught with something, and then people are gonna lose their lives, and they're gonna go to prison, and then the cycle continues. I don't really want anybody to lose their lives, because being in prison and jail, it's not the way. There are people that are in prison for, like, they deserve to be in the prison. Like, if you're messing with kids, or if you're just being a murderer, if you're being a killer, you deserve to be in a cell and not see light. But if you're just a drug addict, you shouldn't be in jail or prison. You should be in a halfway house. You should be in a rehab center. You shouldn't be in prison or jail for some drug, because you're already in a prison, in a jail. When you're doing the drug, you're already in a jail mentally, and you're already there. So what's the point in putting you in a real physical jail and prison, and it's not gonna do shit? It's just gonna put you in the jungle with some animals, like some real bad people. Yeah. Long story short, I wish the best for the neighbors, and this is gonna be the last time I ever talk about them in a video. And if I do speak about them again, it's gonna be good, because I do see the good in them. I do see. All right, somebody revved their car. Somebody just turned their car on. If you guys hear that, it's loud as shit. Let's let it pass. Let's let it pass. Okay. Yeah, like, I do wish the best for them. I do. And if my neighbors, they ever come across this video, and I truly empathize with you. I feel bad for you guys. I wish the best for you guys. And God is He's got you. You just have to find him. You really do. You just have to find them, neighbors. And I'm not just talking about the across the street neighbors that are causing the noise. I'm talking about, my neighbors on the street, in my city, in my state, in my country, in my continent, in my world. We need to band together as neighbors again, because the devil's plans was to divide us and separate us, and now look at us. Nobody talks to each other in the neighborhood anymore. That's the issue. That love thy neighbor, Bible verse, it's the devil has pretty much made people forgot what that phrase is and that verse is. Because we all should be taking care of each other. We all should be looking after each other. We all should be banding together for the greater good. And, not for nothing, but there have been times in my life where, I had to be the person to step up and seek justice. I had to seek justice with my mom's ex-boyfriend. I had to get him the fuck out of our lives. Because my mom was, she was accustomed to, nonsense, based on her childhood. And so I had to be the one as a teenager to step up. And then when I was working my job, I'm not going to say the name of the company because I'm not trying to get sued. There was a time where a lady I worked with, she was harassing me. She was hurt. And I did empathize with her. I did. I felt bad for her. She talked about her husband died of, I don't know if it was cancer, but her husband died, unnaturally. And I really felt bad for her, so I really, let her antics slide. But, her antics, got me anxious every day. And then there was one point where, the higher ups were like, Dom, if she does something, you gotta tell us. And then one day she got physical with me, and then I sent an email, and that was that. She got fired. And I hope she's doing okay. I really do hope she's doing okay. She's in her 60s. She's still acting like a child. That's another issue that I'm gonna get to in another video. And then working in the same place, there was a lot of injustice, like people like them overworking us. And then I had New Year's Eve or New Year's Day scheduled. I had it off already. Like I already had it approved to be off, and then they gave us a 6-day schedule where we had to work 6 days in a row. And I was pissed. So I yelled at the wrong person, but I got the message out. And I'm like, you can't do this. You can't do this. This is wrong. You can't do that. I blew up. I was pissed. And then, because I never yell, but when I do yell, I will tell you one thing. If you hear me yelling, and I'm talking like Super Saiyan screaming, like Super Saiyan volumes of yelling, then there's a problem, because it takes a lot to get me actually upset. I might bitch and complain playing a game, but there are times where I'm actually pissed, like Super Saiyan pissed. And it takes a lot of me to get, it takes a lot out of me. It takes a lot of chances and a lot of buttons being pressed to even get me to that point. So if you ever see me angry like that, then that's how you know you're fucking up. Because if you're getting me, Dom, mad and upset, that means you're messing up, because I don't get mad. I'm not bothered by I don't get bothered by things that easily. And when I do get bothered and there's an issue, that means there's a reason I'm getting bothered. I don't get bothered just for no reason. I get bothered because and pissed and actually upset, like actually angry and mad, for a valid reason. And all that to say, like, I do feel like I'm gonna have to step up. I feel like I'm been chosen to be that person to step up to seek justice, in God's eyes, because I feel like, sure, I call a cop. Sure, what's that gonna do? And let's say they don't even show up because you know how cops are. They don't do shit. They take forever, and it's not even their fault. They're undermanned, and they're bad cops. They're not. They are good people that are cops. What did J. Cole say? I forgot. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to see that interview after I, hit the stop button on this phone when I stop recording. But there are cops that are only cops for the power and the benefits and the money and the pension. There are not people that are cops right now that are doing it for the love of it, to protect the people in our society. There are people that are just a cop to collect a check. And then those cops are the ones that don't show up. You know what I mean? All that to say, like, I'm probably most likely gonna have to be the person to walk out the house and be like, "Yo, can you please turn down the music?" There are people in the neighborhood trying to sleep. Not trying. There are people that have to go to sleep because you're not only disrupting everybody's sleep, you're disrupting everybody's peace. That's full circle moment in this video. It's about peace. You don't, and it's not even the neighbors making the noise. It's people that pull up to their house, like visitors. It's people that are not even from around here, and they go back to their home and they get to sleep and you know what I mean, and sleep, like a little baby, while everybody else gotta hear their noise from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And it's not even about a noise ordinance. It's about peace. Like, you shouldn't be playing your music loud as fuck where everybody can hear it. It's even in the daytime where your car is fucking boom, 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 is rumbling and shaking. And it's like, bro, that's not right. That's not right. There is a time and place to make that noise. Go to an open field and make that noise. There's nobody around. Go to an open field. That's what those fields are made for. And like, that's the real issue. These videos, when I mention the neighbors, I'm really talking about peace. Like, you're disrupting peace. All of us, we've gone through enough. And then you make noise to disrupt our peace, the little peace that we might have. Because, we all go to a fucking job where people are telling us what to do, even though they don't give a fuck about us, because it's modern day slavery nowadays. It's been modern day slavery for a while. It's just now I've woken up to see that it's not even, you could say that, Africans were enslaved. You could say Europeans were enslaved, the South Americans were enslaved, Native Americans, whatever. We are all enslaved right now. All of us. It's the whole world that's enslaved. And, I'm tired of my people. And when I say my people, I mean everybody in the world right now, being enslaved to, people that are evil and that don't give a fuck about us because they worship the devil. You know what I mean? That's okay. God, He has better plans for us. He's gonna make things right. And I'm gonna see it in my lifetime. I know I am. I know I'm gonna see it in my lifetime, for sure. And I hope you guys that are watching sees it in your lifetime too, because it's gonna happen. Just wait. Just be patient. I am patient. I am a very patient person. This chapter in my life, it's called noise. Funny enough. But yeah, my mind is blanking out, so I guess that's the end of my message. I guess that's God telling me that, you got the word out. So, I hope you guys, actually are watching and listening. Beggars can't be choosers. So I'm not begging anybody to watch. I'm gonna say this regardless. And if, these videos blow up at some point, then cool. But I really hope people are actually listening to not only what I'm saying, but people are trying to say to you, like, bro, we are on the track for a time of peace, and it's going to take a lot of, not peace, if that's a term, a lot of noise to get to that point, and it's going to get worse and worse, and then it's going to be a breaking point. God is going to be like, we're done. I'm done. It's over. It's time to make a change. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this video. This is the last time I ever mentioned the neighbors, ever. And by the neighbors, I mean the specifically right across the street. Because if I do mention them again, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be in a place of like something good happened, because I'm tired of complaining about them, because complaining and bitching, it doesn't do shit if you're not gonna do shit about it. So yeah, I hope you guys learn something. Keep God in your prayers if you don't already. I began reading the Bible again, like I did, when I was a child. I'm back to reading it. I try to read a chapter a day, and if I don't, I make up for the day I missed. I'm trying to gain momentum. I am getting closer to God every day. And I hope you guys are too. And it's not for me to tell you that you should, but it's my responsibility to get the word out, the word of God out, as best as I can without, being a beggar, because beggars can't be choosers. All I can hope is for the best, and I do know that there will be better times, in the future, moving forward. It's just going to take a lot of patience, will, and faith. That's all it's going to take. And I hope you guys, are okay. No matter where you are in the world, wherever you are in your life, whatever environment you're in, I hope you're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. By we, I mean everybody around us. The wherever your block is, whatever your street, whatever your neighborhood, whatever your city, state, town, a country, continent, the side of the world you are in, wherever, the whole world, we're going to be okay. And if nobody has said that, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be the first bite. If nobody has said that yet, I'm going to say it. We're all going to be okay. And it's not a feeling, it's a knowing. And I hope you guys know that too. And with that, I'm gonna leave it at that. And I wish you guys, I wish you guys to wake up if you haven't already. Stay off the drugs. Stay off the vape. Stay off anything that's gonna clog your mind and cloud it. Because I want everybody to wake up. I want my people to wake up and stand up for themselves. And stand up for a better tomorrow. Alright guys, I'll talk to you in the next video. Be blessed, stay safe. Peace out. Bye.